Okay,
on
the lighter note,
it's not as if we're going to stop.
Now I hear you say you're citing the laws. It's no longer a free country now because you're citing the laws for you to stop some of these at this point. But let me also ask this before I hand back to Abuja. Must we conduct 2019 elections with this new polling unit or voting point, as it were?
We don't have new polling units. We don't have new voting points as I speak.
No, just a minute. You said the process is on.
Has not been completed.
So I'm asking.
And that's the narrative.
No, just pardon me to clarify. I'm asking. You say the process is on. So I'm asking as well. Yes. Now, if the process is on, it means that you, of course, you concluded. And if you concluded, you may have those PUs. So I'm then asking, must we conduct it with new polling units?
Well, let me answer your question this way. If in Oyo State, for instance, there are 14 local governments, and for some reason, there is a settlement outside the 14 local governments, and you have like 200,000 people, and they are above 18 years and they want to vote, are we going to deny them the opportunity of voting? If they say we should come and create polling units, the place where they are now, they don't have polling units, it's far from the existing one, or it will be difficult for them to join, and we find all those things, based on merit, we find them reasonable. Are we going to say we are not going to allow them to vote? Well, this country is we should create space. But what I'm saying...
Go ahead, please finish your thought.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, whatever decision INEC takes, everybody will be carried along, and it will be based on extant laws, and it's not going to be, there's nothing that we're going to put under the table at all.
Now, I want to take you up on this issue of what is the qualifying criteria.
That's right.
Through which you will now kind of ascertain the veracity of the requests. What is it? You've mentioned the issue of, okay, if there's a community that is, how many kilometers away from a present polling unit, then we'll consider it. Give us some insight into some of those factors so that there will be some level of understanding as to whether the same measurement is being applied to all requests.
Now, when this request came in, and we sent a memo, an internal memo which leaked, by the way, to our resident electoral commissioners, we asked for information based on 4 premises. First, they should give us information on new settlements. They should give us information on areas that natural barriers make it impossible for them to access polling units, like maybe a river or topography or whatever it is. We asked for areas where communal clashes have made the existing polling units unsafe for people to go and vote. And then we asked for information on areas that are far, far from the existing polling units. Because, when we're having general election, there will be a shutdown, and there is an extent, there is a limit to which you can travel. You cannot travel 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers to a polling unit to vote. You'll be stopped by security agencies. Now, when they bring this information, just like I said, it will be subjected to further scrutiny. And then stakeholders will be involved.
In all of this, it is interesting that you haven't mentioned demographics. You haven't talked about the figures, the new number of registrants into your register. Now, I've done a little bit of arithmetic here, and I'm thinking to myself that if at the end of the continuous voters registration you have, say, about 8 million voters.
That's right.
At the end, I mean, just a rough estimate now, and you're looking at 700 people per polling unit, not looking at kilometers and things of the sort. The chances are that you might not have more than 12,000 new units instead of the 30,000. Is INEC thinking that they might have up to 30,000 new units?
Well, that's part of the planning. What the law says is that you register where you intend to vote. So what people are doing now, they are registering in existing areas. We have polling units, we have voting points. We have existing voting points. Apart from the 120,000 polling units, we have roughly about 40 to 50,000 voting points existing, And as we plan, as we, go towards the 2019 general election, these are areas that we're going to look at. That, okay, if we have more people, how do we distribute them? And in what way are we going to, get that information across? Because for instance, if a polling unit is meant for 1,000, you can't put 5,000 there, because what will then happen is that it's going to create a long queue and you spend more time. And what we are trying to do is to make voting an enjoyable experience.
Do you have anything against that, Mr. Osuntokun? Do you have anything, because he's answered the question of, you know, should we disenfranchise people based on the fact that there are outside polling units and things of the sort?
I was thinking we've almost forgotten.
How can we forget you?
Well, you know, one of the ways in which these things can be done to give the public confidence is what he has said, that you involve the stakeholders as much as you can. And another one is, if you are going, at the end of the day, if you are going to add additional voting point settlements or polling booths, let us see the distribution. But that has been the sticking point here all along. If you can come up with the exact figures that you have received, I think it's only logical to make people, to know the distribution of those things. But you seem not to be able to.